toil the subject of the land, or it might be toward that the sweaty haste doth make the night joint labour with the day. Who is that can inform you? That can I, at least, the whisper goes of. Our last king was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway dared to the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact, well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit, with his life, all those his lands which he should seize of to the conqueror.
What? Has this thing appeared against night?
I have seen nothing.
Now, sirs, young Fortinbras of unimproved metal, hot and full, have in the skirts of Norway here and there shut up a list of lawless resolutes, for food and diet to some enterprise that hath the stomach in it, which is no other but to recover of us by strong hand and terms compulsatory those foresaid lands so by his father lost. And this, I take it, is the main motive for our preparations.
This bodes some strange eruption to our state. Tush, tush, 'twill not appear. Okay! What art thou that usurpest this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of very Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak. He will not answer. To the day.
What? Is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio.
Stay. I'll cross it though it blast me. Stay, illusion. If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done, which may to thee do ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, speak. Stop it!
Tis here! Tis here! Tis gone!
Let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet, for upon my life this spirit dumb to us will speak to her.
Yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with mirth in funeral and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife.
Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along, for all our thanks.
Now follows, that you know, young Fortinbras, in thinking by our late dear brother's death, our state to be disjoint and out of frame, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands, lost by his father, with all bonds of law, to our most valiant brother. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, and we here dispatch you, good Voltimand, for bearer of this greeting to old Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king, more than the scope of these delated articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
In this and all things will we show our duty.
We doubt it nothing. Heartily farewell. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is Laertes? The head is not more native to the heart than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
My dread lord, your leave and favor to return to France. For once, though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now, that duty done, my thoughts and wishes turn again to France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says the Lord?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laborsome petition. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes. My best graces spend it at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and our child.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy knighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever, with thy veiled lids, seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature and to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam? Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play, but I have that within which passeth show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know, your father lost a father, that father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persever in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled. For what we know must be, and is as common as any the most vulgar thing to sense, why should we, in our peevish opposition, take it to heart? Fine, 'tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire. And we entreat you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our child.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers. Hamlet, I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as yourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his canon against self-slaughter. Oh, God, God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it, fie. 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this, but 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion to a satyr, and so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Oh, heaven and earth, must I remember why she would hang on him, as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month, oh, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body, like a Niobe, all tears. Why, even she, oh God, a beast that wants discourse of reason, would have mourned longer. Married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. A little month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. O most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets, it is not, nor it cannot come to good. But break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I am glad to see you well, Horatio. Oh, I do forget myself.
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
Sir, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. Oh, but what in faith make you from Wittenberg?
Oh, my lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I pray thee do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I had seen that day, Horatio. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Oh, where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, as the winds give benefits and convoys assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
As for Hamlet and the trifling of her favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood.
No more but so.
Think it no more. For nature, crescent does not grow alone, enthuse in bulk, but as this temple waxes, the inward service of the mind and soul grow wide withal. Perhaps she loves you, and now no soil nor coddle doth besmirch the virtue of her will. But you must fear. Her greatness weighed, her will is not her own, for she herself is subject to her birth. She cannot, as unvalued persons do, carve for herself. Then if she says she loves you, it fits your wisdom to believe it, as she in her particular act and place can give the saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes withal. Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain. If with great its ear you lift her songs, or you lose your heart, or your chaste treasure, open to her a master an opportunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister, and hold yourself in the rear of your affections, out of the shot and danger of desire.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart. But good my brother, do not as some ungracious pastors do show me the steep and thorny way to heaven. Vows, like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and recks not his own reed.
Fear me not, I stay too long, but here my father comes.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard, for shame, the wind sits in the shoulder of thy sail, and you are stayed for. Here, my blessing with thee, and these few precepts in thy memory see thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them to thy soul with hoops and steel. Beware the entrance to a quarrel, but, being it, there't the opposed may beware of thee. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for a loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and thus shall follow as the night and day. Canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing, season this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord. Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said thee.
Ophelia, he has said to you.
So please you? Something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Marry, well he thought. 'Tis told me Lord Hamlet hath of late been very generous of her time with you, and you yourself have of your presence been most free and bounteous. What is between you? Give me up the truth.
She hath of late, my lord, made many tenders of her affection to me.
Affection. Like a green girl, unsifted in such perilous circumstances.
My lord, she hath importuned me with love in honorable circumstance, and given credence to her words, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, springes to catch woodcocks. I do know, when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, bearing more light than heat, extinct in both. You must not take for vows. For the Lord Hamlet, her vows are mere brokers, not of the dye which their investments show, but mere implorators of unholy suits. From this time, be somewhat scanter of your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate than a command to parley. I would not, from any moment forward, have you so slander any moment's leisure to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you, come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
It comes.
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health, or goblin damned. Thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dane. Oh, answer me! Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hersed with death, have burst their cerements. Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do? You will not speak. Then I will follow it.
What if it tempts you toward the flood, my lord, or to the dreadful summit of the
Go on, I'll follow thee!
My lord, you should not go.
Hold off these hands!
No! She waxes desperate with imagination. Let's follow. 'Tis not fit us to obey her. Have after. To what issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it. Horatio!
Over here!
Where wilt thou lead me? Speak! I'll go no further.
Mark me.
Speak. I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold his lightest word, or hair up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. Ah! List! List! Oh, list! If thou didst
my dear father love.
Oh God.
Revenge is foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul, as in the best it is. But this most foul, strange, and unnatural. It has given out that, sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death, rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life, now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul. My uncle.
I, that incestuous, that adulterate beast! With witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts, oh, wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce, one to his shameful lust the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be. Sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour thy uncle stole with juice of cursed heaven on in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man that swift as quicksilver it courses the natural gates and alleys of the body, where the sudden vigor doth posset and curd, like ear droppings in the milk, the thin and wholesome blood, so did it mine. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off even to the blossoms of my sin, no reckoning made, but sent to my account, with all my imperfections on my head. Ah! Oh, horrible, most horrible! If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and those thorns which in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. Adieu! Adieu! Hamlet, remember me!
Oh, all you hosts of heaven! Oh, earth! What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fine! Hold my heart. And you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee. I, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe, remember thee. Yea. From the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial, fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past that youth and observation copied there, and thy commandment. All alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman! Oh, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain! My tables, meet it is, I sit down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word, it is adieu, adieu, remember me. I have sworn it.
My lord! My lord! Oh! What news, my lord? Good, my lord, tell it.
No, you'll reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
How say you then? Would hard man once think it? But you'll be secret.
I, by heaven, my lord.
It is an honest ghost, that let me tell you. For your desire to know what is between us, or master it as you may. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers, give me one poor request. Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, we will not.
Nay, but swear it!
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword.
Day and night, but this is wondrous strange.
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, here as before, never so help you mercy. How strange or odd soe'er I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you, at such times, seeing me, never note that you know aught of me. Swear! Swear! Rest, rest, perturbed spirit. Let us go in together, and still your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right.
Give him this money and these notes, Ronaldo.
I will, my lord.
Shall be marvelous wisely, good Ronaldo, before you visit him to inquire of his behavior. So, look you, sir, first inquire me as to what danskers there are in Paris. If they be no, my son, come you more nearer than your particular demands will touch it. Take you as twere some distant knowledge of him.
Ah, very well, my lord.
There put upon him what forgeries as you may please. Marry, not so rank as may dishonor him, take heed of that. But, sir, such wild, wanton, and usual slips as our companions noted and most known to youth and liberty.
But, my good
Wherefore
lord.
shall you do this?
My good lord.
Marry, here's my drift. Your party in converse, and him you would sound, having known the gentleman who breed of guilty. Make sure he closes thus. I know the gentleman, I saw him yesterday, or t'other day, or then, with such, or perchance there was a ruse, a gaming, perchance a loss at tennis, or perchance, I saw him enter such a house of sale, to visit a brothel, or so forth. Not a carp of falsehood, breathes the hint of truth. You have me, have you not?
My lord, I have.
I'll be with you, fairly well.
Good, my lord.
How now, Ophelia, what's the matter?
Oh, my lord, I have been so affrighted.
What, in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with her doublet all embraced, pale as her shirt, her knees knocking each other, with a look so piteous in purport, as if she had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors. She comes before me, mad for thy love. My lord, I do not know, but surely I do fear it.
What said she?
She took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes she to the length of all her arm, and with her other hand thus o'er her brow, falls to such perusal of my face as she would draw it. Long stayed she so, the last with a little shaking of my wrist, and thrice her head thus waving up and down. She raised a sigh so piteous and profound as it did seem to shatter all her bulk and end her being. That done, she lets me go, and with her head or her shoulder turned, seemed to find her way without her eyes, for out a door she went without their help, and to the last bended their light on me.
This is the very ecstasy of love. What, have you given her any hard words of late?
No, my lord, but as you did command, I did repel her fetters and denied her access to me.
That hath made her mad. I'm sorry that with my better heed and judgment I had not quoted her. I fear she did but trifle and meant to wreck thee. Come, we must go to the king. This must be known, which, being kept close, could prove more grief to hide than hate to utter love.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. The need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation? I entreat you both that, being of so young days brought up with her, and sit so neighbored to her youth and behavior, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw her on to pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts her thus. That opened lies within our remedy.
Good, gentle ones. She hath much talked of you, and sure I and two friends there are not living to whom she more adheres. It will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill. Your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more to command than to entreaty.
But we both obey and lay our service freely at your feet. Go, bring these gentle ones where Hamlet is.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I assure my liege and lady that I hold my duty, as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think, else this friend of mine hunts not the trail of policy so sure as it once used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do we long to hear. Say, Voldemort, what from our brother Norway?
Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be preparation against the Polak, but better looked into, he truly found was against your highness. He sends out arrests on Fortinbras, which he in brief obeys, receives rebukes from Norway, and in fine makes vows before his uncle nevermore to make the assay of arms against your majesty. Wherein old Norway, overcome with joy, gives us permission to employ those soldiers, so levied as before, against the Polak, with an entreaty herein further shown, that it might please you to give him quiet counsel through your dominions for this enterprise, on such regards of safety and allowances.
Likes us well, and at a more considered time will read, answer, and think upon this business. Most welcome home.
This business is well ended, My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty shall be, what duty is, why day is day, night, night, and time is time. We're nothing but to waste night, day, and time. And therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and he is the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble child is mad, and now remains to find the very cause of this effect, or rather the cause of this defect. For this effect effective comes by cause, and now remains, and the remainder thus portends. I have a daughter, have while she is mine, who, in her duty and obedience, hath given me this. Gather and surmise. Doubt those stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best. Oh, most best, believe it. Adieu, thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to her, Hamlet. This she has shown me in all of her confidence and all the solicitings of Lord Hamlet, given the time, means, and place given to my ear.
But how hath she received her love?
Well, my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince, and out of thy star this must not be. And then I precepts gave her to lock herself from her resort, accept no messengers, receive no tokens, and by this repulsed a short tale to tell, she fell into a sadness, and by this declension into the madness wherein she now raves and all immortal.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be very likely.
How may we try it further?
At some such time, I will loose my daughter unto her. Be you and I behind an heiress, then to mark the encounter. If she love her not, then let me be no advisor for state.
We will try it.
Look, where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent, well, you are a fishmonger.
Oh, no, not I, my lord.
Well, then I would you were so honest a man. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive. Friend, look to it!
What say you by this? Still harping on my daughter, though she said she knew me not at first. She said I was a fishmonger. She is far gone, far gone. I will speak with her again. What is it you read, my lord?
Words, words, words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
The matter that you read.
Slanders, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with those weak hands. But I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down. For yourself, sir, should be as old as I am, if, like a crab, you could go backwards.
This is madness, yet there is a method. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave.
Indeed, that is out of the air. How frightening sometimes her replies are. A happiness that madness often hits upon, but by solidarity and reason cannot be delivered. My honorable lord, I'm afraid I must humbly take my leave of you.
Oh, you cannot, sir. Take from me anything that I will more willingly part with all. Except my life. Except my life. Except my life. These tedious old fools.
the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lord.
Then you live about her waist, or in the middle of her favor.
Favor private's way.
In the secret parts of fortune. Oh, most true. She is a strumpet. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord.
Denmark's a prison.
Why, then your ambition makes it one. It's too narrow for your mind.
Oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I have bad dreams.
Which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream.
A dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly.
And I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that it's but a shadow's shadow.
What make you at Elsinore?
Oh, to visit you, my lord, another occasion.
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there is a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me, but let me conjure you, by the rights of our fellowship, be even and direct with me whether you were sent for or no.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So may my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth. And indeed, it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. What a piece of work is a man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me.
My lord, if you delight not man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you.
What players are they?
Oh, even those you were wont to take delight in. The tragedians of the city.
There are players! Gentle ones, you are welcome at Elsinore, you are welcome, but my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived.
And what, my dear lord?
I'm but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
My lord, I have good news. The actors have arrived, my lord.
Just the judge of Israel, what a treasure hadst thou?
What a treasure had he, my lord?
Why, one fair daughter, and no more, the which he loved passing well.
Still on my daughter.
Oh, master, you are welcome. Welcome all. I am glad to see you well. Oh, my old friend. Your face is veiling since I saw thee last. What, my young lady and mistress? By your ladyship is nearer to heaven than when I saw you last. Masters, you are all welcome. We'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my lord?
Oh, I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted. Or if it was, not above once for the play, I remember, pleased not the million. But it was an excellent play. One speech in it I chiefly loved. 'Twas Aeneas's tale to Dido. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus He whose sabled arms, black as his purpose, horridly tricked, with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, and thus o'ersized with coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Paris, old grandsire Priam seeks. So, proceed.
Oh, God, my lord, well said, with good accent and good discretion.
Anon he finds him, striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam drives, but in rage he strikes wide, and with the width and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, stoops to his base with flaming top, and with a hideous crash, takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. And so as a painted tyrant Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. But as we often see against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the rack stands still, the bold wind speechless, and the orb below as hush as death. Anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region, so, after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work. And never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars' armor forged for proof a turd, with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam.
Oh, this is too long.
It shall to the margins with your beard. Oh, prithee, say on, say on. Come to Hecuba.
But who, oh who, had seen the mobled queen run barefoot up and down threatening the flames? Who this had seen with tongue in venom steeped, 'gainst fortune's state would treason have pronounced. But if the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal moved them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven, and passion in the gods.
Look, has he not turned his color and tears in his eyes? I pray you, no more.
'Tis well. I'll have thee speak out the rest soon. Good my lord, will you see these players well bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death, you were better have a bad epitaph than their ill report while you live.
Come, sirs.
Follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow. My good friends, I'll leave you till night. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my lord.
Aye, so. I'll be with you. Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage waned, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing. For Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do? Had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage in tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty, and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy-mettled rascal, peak, like John of Dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Huh. Swoons I should take it, for it cannot be but I am pigeon-livered, and lack gall to make oppression bitter. Or ere this, I should have fatted all the region kites with this slave's offal. Bloody, bawdy villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain. Oh, vengeance! Why, what an ass am I? This is most brave, that I, the child of a dear father murdered, the prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words and fall a-cursing, like a very drab, a scullion, fie upon it. So about my brain, I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have by the very cunning of the scene been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tend him to the quick. If he but blench, I know my course. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
She puts on this confusion?
She does confess she feels herself distracted. But will cause you by no means speed.
Nor do we find her forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring her on to some confession of her true state.
Did you assay her to any pastime?
Madam, it's so far that certain players over on the way. And this week told her there did seem in her kind of joy to hear of it. They are about the court, and as I think they have ordered this night to play before her.
Aye, 'tis most true. And she did beseech me to entreat your majesty's stay and hear the matter.
Good, gentle ones. Give her a further edge and drive her purpose onto these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither that she, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring her to her wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madame, I wish it may.
Ophelia, we'll walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Look you upon this book, Ophelia. Such an exercise may color the state of your loneliness. I hear her coming. We must away. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them, to die. To sleep no more. And by sleep, to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream. Aye. There's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit from the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death? The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment with this regard, their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Soft you now. The fair Ophelia, nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to be delivered. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did. With them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord!
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty to his likeness. This was sometime paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Help her, you sweet heaven!
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. To a nunnery go, and quickly too.
Heavenly powers, restore her!
God has given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp and nickname God's creatures, and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to! I'll know more on it. It has made me mad! I say, we will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery go!
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. The soldiers, courtiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword. The expectancy and rose of the fair state. Glass of fashion and the mold of form. The observed of all observers, quite down. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of her music vows. Now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled, out of tune and harsh. That unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, see what I see.
Love, her affections do not that way tend, nor what she spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in her soul o'er which her melancholy sits on brood, and I don't doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger, which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. She shall with speed to England for the demand of our neglected tribute.
Shall do well. But yet I do believe the origin and commencement of this grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what the Lord Hamlet said. We've heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But if you hold it fit, let the Queen Mother tonight after the play all alone entreat her to show her grief. How be placed so please you in the ear of all their conference? If she find her not, then to England send her, or confine her where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness and great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it as many of your players do. I had his leave the town prior spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently.
I warrant your honor.
Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance that you overstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature, show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time his form and pressure.
Well, I hope we've reformed that indifferently with us.
We'll reform it altogether. Go, make you ready. Oh, good my lord. Will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and that presently.
Bid the players make haste. What, ho, Horatio?
Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou art e'en as just a man as ever my conversation coped withal.
My dear lord.
Nay, do not think I flatter. Since my dear soul was mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself. For thou hast been a man which fortune's buffets and rewards hast taken with equal thanks. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, observe mine uncle. Give him heedful note, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if he still ought the whilst this play is playing and skate detecting, I will pay the theft.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Oh, excellent, I think, of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air, promise crammed. You cannot feed capon so.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet, sit by me.
Oh, no, good mother. Here's metal more attractive.
Mark you that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
Oh, that's a fair thought to lie between a maid's legs.
What is my lord?
Nothing.
You're merry, my lord.
What should a man do but be merry? For look you, how cheerfully my mother looks. And my father died within these 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long? Nay then, let the devil wear black. I'll have a suit of sables. Oh heavens, died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet. Why then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life half a year.
What means this, my lord? Like to show forth the argument of the...
For 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round, Neptune's salt wash, and Hellas' all ground. Since love, our hearts and hymens in our hands unite commutual and most sacred bands.
So many journeys where the sun and moon make us again count o'er and love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I do distrust you. Yet though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, nothing must. Where love is great, the littlest doubts I fear. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operate powers their functions leave to do. And thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and haply one is kind. For husband shalt thou.
Confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None with the second, but who killed the first.
I do believe that we speak. For what we do determine, oft we break. What to ourselves in passion we propose, the passion ending doth purpose lose. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange, that even our loves should with our fortunes change. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to give me food, nor heaven lunch, sport and repose locked from me day and night. But cure and hence pursue me lasting strife, if once the widow, ever I be wife.
She should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile this tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady protests too much, methinks.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, no, they do but jest. Poison and jest. No offense in the world. Oh, this is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You're as good as a chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love, if I could see the puppets dallying.
You're keen, my lord, you are keen.
Begin, murderer. Hawks leave thy damnable faces and begin.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agree. Confederate season, else no creature see. Thou mix your rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's ban, thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life, usurp immediately.
How fares, my lord?
Give over the plate!
Away!
Lights, lights, lights!
Oh, good Horatio. I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000. Didst perceive?
Very well, my lord.
Aha! Come, some music. Come, the reporters. For if the king like not the comedy, come, some music.
Good my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole history.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, has sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it will please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's disease. But to the purpose, my mother, you say?
Your behavior hath struck her to amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful child, that can so astonish a mother.
She desires to speak to you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey, were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
So do I still. By these pickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the doors upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Let me see one. To withdraw with you. if you go about to recover the wind of me, as if you would drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
'Tis as easy as lying. Govern these vestiges with your fingers and thumb. Give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you then, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass, and there is much music. Excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak. Splud, do you think I am easier to be played upon than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will. Though you can fret me, yet you cannot play upon me.
My lord! My lord, your mother will have words with you, and presently.
And I will come to my mother by and by.
I will say so.
Leave me, friends. Heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words soever she be shent to give them seals, never my soul consent.
My lord, she's going to her mother's closet. There, I'll convey myself behind an arras to mark the encounter, for, as you said, and wisely was it said, some audience other than a mother should hear the speech of vantage, for nature makes it partial. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know. Farewell, my lord.
Thanks, dear my lord. Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon't, a brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand and pause where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force? To be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned being down. Then all look up. My fault is past. Oh, what form of a prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? That cannot be. Since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft to see the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, e'en to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can, what can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? O wretched state! O bosom black as death! O livid soul that, struggling to be free, art more engaged! Help, angels! Make a say. Thou, stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Now might I do it. Now he is praying. And now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven. And so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father. And for that, I, his sole child, do this same villain send to heaven? Oh, this is higher in salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May, and how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven, but in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Off sword. And know thou a more horrid vent, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it. Then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
Much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Have you forgot me?
No, but the rude, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Oh, nay then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come, and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass that you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Oh, help! Oh, help! What help? Help! Help! Help!
How now? A rat? Dead for a ducat? Dead!
I am fine. What a rash, bloody deed is this?
A bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my word. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool. Farewell. I took thee for thy better. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down, and let me wring your heart. For so I shall if it be made of penetrable stuff.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against
such an
me?
act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love, and sets a blister there.
Me. What act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here, upon this picture, and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow, a combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Oh, shame! Where is thy blush?
Oh, Hamlet! Speak no more. Thou turnst mine eyes into my very soul. There I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tint.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an unseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty spies.
Oh, speak to me no more! These words like daggers enter in mine ears.
A murderer! And a villain! A slave that is not 20th part the type of your precedent lord. A vice of kings. A king of shreds and patches! Oh, save me! And hover over me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, she's mad.
Do not you come, your tardy child, to chide that lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command. Oh, say!
Do not forget! This visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet!
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you that you should bend your eye on vacancy and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse?
Did you see nothing there?
Nothing at all. Yet all that is I see.
Why, look you there! Look how it steals away! My father in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes even now, out at the portal.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning.
Ecstasy! My pulse, as yours, doth temperately keep time. It makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered to you. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past. Avoid what is to come. And do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them rancor.
Hamlet, thou hast left my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it and live the purer with the other half. For this same Lord, I do repent. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this. By no means that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him, for a pair of reechy kisses, make you to matter all this, ravel all this matter out, that I, essentially, am not in madness, but mad in craft.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
Mother, good night. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you.
There's matter in these sighs, these profound heaves. You must translate. 'Tis fit we understand
Oh,
them.
my good lord! What have I seen tonight?
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
That, as the sea and wind would both contend, which is the mightier, in her long spit, behind the arras hearing something stir, whips out her rapier, cries, "A rat! A rat!" And in his greenish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. Had been so with us had we been there. Her liberty is full of threats to all. Where is she gone?
Why, to draw apart the body she hath killed, or which, her madness like some ore among a mineral of metals base, it shows itself pure. She weeps for what is done.
The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship her hence. And this vile deed we must, with all our majesty and skill, both countenance and excuse. Go, seek her out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you haste in this. Come, Gertrude. We'll call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Oh, come away! My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Safely stowed. What noise? Oh, who calls on Hamlet? Here they come!
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust, whereto 'tis came.
Tell us where it is, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep my counsel and not your own? Besides, to be demanded of sponge.
Taking me for a sponge, my lord?
Aye, sir. That soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities. Oh, but such officers do the king best service in the end. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you shall be dry again.
I understand it not, my lord!
I'm glad of it.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king!
The body is with the king. But the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
Thing, my lord?
Of nothing. Bring me to him!
Oh! Oh, Hamlet! Come on! Come on! Hamlet! Ah! Ah!
I've sent to seek her and to find the body. How dangerous is it that this fiend goes loose? Yet must not we put the strong law on her? She's loved of the distracted multitude, who like not in their judgment, but their eyes. And where 'tis so, the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offense. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending her away must seem deliberate pause.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper? Where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are in at him.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven. Send hither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But indeed, if you find him not within this month, you shall notice him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go seek him there.
Or he will stay until you come.
Hamlet, this deed, for thine especial safety, which we do tender, as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready, the wind at help, the associates tend, and everything is bent for England.
Good.
So is it if thou knewest our purposes?
I see a cherub that sees them. But come, for England! Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet?
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh, and so, my mother. Come, for England!
Follow her at foot. Tempt her with speed aboard. Delay it not, I'll have her hence tonight. And England, if my love thou hold'st at aught, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red after the Danish sword, thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process, which imports at full, by letters conjuring to that effect, the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England, for like the hectic in my blood she rages, and thou must cure me, till I know 'tis done, howe'er my haps my joys were ne'er begun.
Danish king. Tell him that by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom.
I'll do it, my lord.
Go softly on.
Good sir, whose powers are these?
They are of Norway, sir.
How purposed, sir, I pray you?
Against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
Nephew to all Norway, Fortinbras.
Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, or for some frontier?
Truly to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain a little patch of ground, hath in it no profit but the name. To pay 5 ducats, 5, I would not farm it. Nor that yield Norway will appall. A ranker rate should be sold in fee.
Why, then the Polak men will defend it.
Yes, it is already garrisoned.
2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will not debate the question of this straw. This is the imposture of much wealth and peace, which inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir.
God be with you, sir.
Will it please you go, my lord? I'll be with you straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man, if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast, no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and God-like reason to fust in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event. A thought which, Corford, hath but one part wisdom, and ever 3 parts coward. I do not know why yet I live to say this things to do, sith I have cause, and will, and strength, and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements in my reason and my blood, and let all sleep, while to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds. Fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth.
Much of her father. She says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart.
Oh, the beauteous majesty of Denmark!
How now, Ophelia?
How should I your true love know from another one? By his castle hat and staff, and his sandal shoon.
Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song?
Say you? Nay, pray you mark. He is dead and gone, lady, he is dead and gone. At his head a grass green turf, at his heels a stone.
Nay, but Ophelia, alas, look you here, my lord.
Blooded with sweet flowers, which she wept to the grave, did go with true love showers.
How do you, pretty lady?
Oh, God, it'll do. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, and know not what we may be. God be at your table.
Conceit upon her father.
Pray you will tell the words of this. But when they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, you'll live from the morning betime, and I leave at your window to be your valentine. Then up she rose and donned her clothes and ducked the chamber door. Let in the maid, that out a maid, never departed more.
How long hath she been thus?
Oh, all will be well. We must be patient. Oh, but I cannot choose but weep the things they should lay into the cold ground. My brother shall know of this. And so, we thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach.
Follow her close. Give her good watch, I pray you. This is the poison of deep grief. It springs all from her father's death. Oh, Gertrude, Gertrude! When sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. First, her father slain, Next, your child, gone, and she most violent author of her own just remove. The people muddied, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts and whispers for good Polonius' death. Next, poor Ophelia, divided from herself and her fair judgment. Last, and as much containing as all these, her brother is in secret come from France, feeds on this wonder, keeps...
Black! What noise is this?
What is the matter?
Save yourself, my lord. The ocean, overpeering of his list, eats not the flats with more impetuous haste than young Laertes, and a riotous head overbears your officer. The rabble call him lord. They cry, choose we. Laertes shall be king. Couch, hands, and hug the plot to the cloud. Laertes shall be king. Laertes king.
Where is this king? Sir, can't you all without? I pray you hear me. Oh, thou vile king! Where is my father?
Oh, good Laertes,
That drop of blood that's come proclaims me bastard! Cries cuckold to my father! Brands the harlot even here, between the chaste, unsmirched brows of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude! Tell me, Laertes, why thou art thus incensed? Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
but not by him!
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil. Let come what comes, only I will be revenged most thoroughly for my father.
If you desire to know the certainty of your father's death, is't writ in your revenge that swoop-stake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser?
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
His good friends. Thus why will I ope mine arms, and like the kind life-rendering pelican, repast them with my blood.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensible in grief for it. It shall as level to your judgment pierce as day does to your eye.
Now, what noise is this? Dry up my brains. Tears 7 times salt. Burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. By heavens, your madness shall be paid for by weight, till our scale turn the beam. Rose of May, kind sister, sweet Ophelia.
It bore in bed, faced on the bier. Hey, naughty, naughty, hey, naughty. And in his grave rained many a tear. Fare you well, my dove?
Hadst thou thy wits, and did persuade revenge, it could not move thus.
There's rosemary, that's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. There's pansies, that's for thoughts. There's fennel for you. And columbines. There's rue for you. And here's some for me. Only you must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I'd give you violence, but they withered all when my father died. So you made a good end.
Thoughts and affliction, passion, hell itself. And she turns to favor, into prettiness.
Will he not come again? And will he not come again? No, no, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. His beard was as white as snow. All flaxen was his poll. He is gone, and we cast away moan. God have mercy on his soul! And all Christian souls, I pray God. God be with ye.
Do you see this, O God?
Laertes, I must commune with your grief. Be you content to lend your patience to us, and we will jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Let this be so. His means of death, his obscure funeral, no trophy, nor sword, nor hatchments o'er his bones, no noble rites, nor formal ostentation. Cry, as it were, from heaven to earth, that I must call it into question.
So you shall. And where the offense is, let the great axe fall. I pray you. Go with me.
What are you that would speak with me?
Oh.
And we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate. A very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of our ship. So I alone became their prisoner. Oh, they have dealt with me like thieves of mercy. But they knew what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Good turn. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear will make thee dumb. This good fellow will direct thee where I am. Farewell, she that thou knowest thine, Hamlet. Come, I'll give you way for these your letters, and do it the speedier that you may direct me to her from whom you brought them.
Now you must put me in your heart for friend, sith you have heard and with a knowing ear, that she which hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
Well appears. But tell me why you proceeded not against these feats, so crimeful and capital in nature, as by your safety, wisdom, all things else, you mainly were stirred up.
The queen, her mother, lives almost by her looks, and for myself, she's so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but by her. The other motive, Why to a public account I might not go? Is the great love the general gender bear her?
And so, have I a noble father slain, a sister driven to desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, stood challenger on mount of all the age. My revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. I loved your father, and we love ourselves, and that I hope will teach you to imagine. How now? What news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. This to your majesty and this to the queen.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and most strange return. Hamlet, how should this be? Are all the rest come back? Or is it some abuse and no such thing? Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord, but let her come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall see her and tell her to her teeth, thus didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me?
I, my lord? So you will not overrule me to a peace?
To thine own peace. If Hamlet is returned as checking at her voyage, and that she means no more to undertake it, I will work her to an exploit now ripe in my device, under the which she shall not choose but fall, and for her death no wind of blame shall breathe, but e'en her mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled. The rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
It falls right. Hamlet being returned shall know you are come home. We'll put on those shall praise your excellence and wager on your heads. She being remiss will not peruse the foils, so that with ease or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a pass of practice, requite her for your father.
I will do it. And to that effect, I will anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal that but dip a knife in it where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare can save the thing from death. I'll touch my points with this contagion so that if I gall her but slightly, it may be death.
Let's further think of this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, 'twere better not essayed. Therefore this project should have a back or second that might hold if this should blast proof. Soft, let me see. We'll put a solemn wager on your comings, I have it. When in your motions you are hot and dry, and that she calls for drink, I'll have prepared her a chalice for the nonce, whereon but sipping, if she by chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
Oh, one woe doth tread upon another's heels so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Where?
There is a willow. Grows a still brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There, with fantastic garlands did she come of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples that liberal shepherds give a grosser name. But our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There, on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds clambering to hang. An envious sliver broke. When down her weedy trophies and herself fell, in the weeping brook her clothes spread wide, mermaid-like, while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued upon that element, but long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from melodious lay to muddy death.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and thus I forbid my tears. But it is our trick. Nature her custom holds. Let shame say what it will. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now fear I this will give it start again. Therefore let's follow.
Methought it was very sweet to contract all the time for a night. Oh, methought there was nothing.
Hath this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave making?
Custom hath made it in a property of easiness.
But he, with his stealing steps, hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if I had never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave's this, Sirrah?
Mine, my lady.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, my lady.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, milady. But, rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the name is. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to at the very day that young Hamlet was born. She that is mad and sent into England.
Aye, marry. Why was she sent to England?
Why? Because she was mad! She shall recover her wits there. Or, if she do not, it is no great matter there.
Why not?
There, the women are as mad as she.
How came she mad?
Faith. Even with losing her wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here! In Denmark!
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
In faith, if he be not rotten before he die, he'll last you some 8 year or 9 year. Here is a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
He poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. This skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. Oh, he hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. And now, how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rims at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar. Not one now to mock your own grinning. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked to this fashion in the earth?
Even so, my lord.
It smells so?
Oh, not so.
To what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why, may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole?
'Twere to consider too curiously to consider that.
But soft aside, here comes the king.
Oh.
The queen, the courtiers. Who is this they follow? With such mated rights?
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranties. Her death was doubtful, and but that great commandor sways the order, she should in ground unsanctified have lodged till the last trumpet.
Lay her in the earth. From her fair and unpolluted flesh may violence spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel will my sister be, while thou liest howling.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Sweets to the sweet. Farewell. I hoped thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, not to have strewed thy grave.
Treble woe, fall 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprives thee of. Hold off the earth a while, until I have caught it once more. Now, pile your earth upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made.
Who is she whose grief bears such an emphasis? Whose praise of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearers? This is I, Hamlet the Dead.
Yeah, the devil take thy soul!
Thou prayest not! I prithee take thy fingers from my throat!
Pluck them asunder!
Hamlet! I loved Ophelia! 40,000 brothers, but not with all their quantity of loving of myself. What will that do for her? Would weep, would fight, would fast, would tear thyself. Be very quick with her, and so will I. I'll rest as well as thou. Mere madness! What is the reason that you used us? I loved you ever.
Be you content to lend your patience. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push.
Fighting that would not let me sleep. Methought I'd like worse than the mutinies in the bilboes. Rashly, and praised be rashness for it. Let us note our indiscretion sometimes serves us well when our deep plots do pall. And that should teach us there's a divinity that shapes our ends. Rough hew them how we will.
That is most certain.
Up from my cabin, in the dark, groped I to find out them, had my desire, fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold, my fears forgetting manners, to unseal their grand commission, where I found Horatio. Oh, royal knavery, an exact command that on the supervise, no leisure baited, no, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
Is possible.
Here's the commission. I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair, an earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, that on the view and knowing of these contents, without debatement further, more or less, he should the bearers put to sudden death, not striving time allows.
So, Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it?
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow.
Why, what a king is this?
Does it not, thinkest thee, stand me now upon? He that hath killed my king, and whored my mother, and with such cozenage, is't not perfect conscience to quit him with this arm, and is not to be damned to let this canker of our nature come in further evil? But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself.
Peace! Who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it, sir, with all diligence of spirit.
My lord, the king has bade me signify to you that he has placed a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter. Here has recently come to court Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society and great show.
Sir, his definement suffers no perdition in you.
You are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is.
Oh, I dare not confess that.
I mean, sir, for his weapon, but in the imputation laid on him by them, and his meed he's unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger. The king, sir, hath wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. And it would come to immediate trial, if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall. If it please his majesty, 'tis the breathing time of day with me, let the foils be brought. I will win for him, and I can. If not, I gain nothing but my shame in the odd hits.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
My lord, you will lose this wager.
I do not think so. I will win at the odds. But thou must not think how ill all's here about my heart. But it is no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
It is but foolery.
If your mind dislike any part of it, obey it. I'll forestall the repair hither and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man has aught of what he leaves, what is't to leave betimes?
Come, Hamlet, come and take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir, I've done you wrong. But pardon it, as you are a gentleman. What I have done that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts that I have shot mine arrow over the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor, I stand aloof and will no reconcilement, till by some elder masters of known honor I have a voice and precedent of peace to keep my name ungored. But till that time I take your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Bring us the foils, come on.
Come, one for me.
Give them the foils.
Your grace hath placed the odds on the weaker side.
Oh, I do not fear it. I have seen you both, and since he's bettered, we have therefore odds.
This is too heavy. Let me see it.
Set me the stoops of wine upon that table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, the king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath. And in the cup, a union shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Give me the cups, and you, the judge, bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
A very palpable.
Well then, again!
Hey! Give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give her the cup.
Set it by a while. I'll play the spout first. Come. Another hit. What say?
Touch, touch. You know that.
Our child shall win.
She's scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin. Rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortunes, Hamlet.
Good madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
I dare not drink yet, madam. By and by.
Oh, come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit her now.
Come for the third, Laertes.
Have at you now. Can do thee good, and thee there is but half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in your hand, unbaited and envenomed. The foul practice hath turned itself on me. For lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Your mother's poison, Hamlet. I can no more! The king! Oh, the king's to blame!
The point envenomed too. Then venom to thy way!
am but hurt.
Here, thou incestuous, murderous, damning Dane, drink off this potion. Is thy union here? Follow my mother.
He was well served. Exchange forgiveness with me, Hamlet. Reminded my father's debts come on thee. God. Nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. I am dead, Horatio. Oh, wretched queen. Adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance that are but mutes or audience to this act, had I but time. As this fell sergeant, death is strict in his arrest. Oh, I could tell you. But let it be. Horatio, I am dead. Thou livest. Report me, and my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than a Dane.
Here's yet some liquor left. As thou art a man, give me the cup. Let go. I have an promise. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent me from felicity a while, and in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Young Fortinbras, with conquest comes from Poland, gives this warlike volley.
I die, Horatio. But I do prophesy the election light on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice. So tell him, with the occurrence, more or less, which have solicited the rest is silence.
Thou cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. The flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Where is the sight?
What is it you would see? If aught of more wonder cease your search.
This quarry cries on havoc. O proud death, what feast is toward in thine eternal cell, that thou so many princes at a shot so bloodily hast struck?
You from the Polack wars are here arrived. Give order that these bodies high on a stage be placed to the view. And let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments and casual slaughters, of deaths put on by a cunning and a forced cause, and in this upshot, purposes mistook fallen on the inventor's heads. All this can I truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it. And call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now to claim my vantage doth invite me.
Of that I shall have also cause to speak. And from her mouth whose voice will draw no more. But let the same be presently performed, even while men's minds are wild, lest more mischance on plots and errors happen.
Let four captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage. She was likely that she'd been put on to have proved most royally. And for her passage, the soldiers' music and the rites of war speak loudly for her.
Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go, bid the soldiers shoot.